Would you imagine that social media could save your life? Well, today we're talking about all of that and more, starting now. When we come back, we're sharing an inspiring story about one woman who used hope, social media, and the kindness of a stranger to save her friend's life. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Most of us enjoy the occasional kindness of a stranger, but my next guests took that to a new level. Joining me is Leah Hostelet, a woman who used Facebook to find a kidney for her former college professor, and Becky, the woman who saw Leah's post and donated her kidney. Welcome, Becky and Leah.
Thank you.
So this is such an inspirational story, Leah. Can you just tell me how this came about and fill us in on exactly what happened?
Jerry was a former college professor of mine, and I've actually taken every single class that Jerry offers. He's just an amazing teacher. And one day he posted a status on Facebook saying that he was in need of a kidney. And I just really felt like there was more that we could do, a better way to reach more people. So I private messaged him and I said, "You really need a page." And he messaged me back and said, "I don't know how to do that." And I said, "Well, hold on a minute." So I whipped up the page and we started sharing it with friends, and their friends started sharing it. And eventually it ended up reaching Becky, who ended up deciding to donate her kidney to Jerry.
Becky, how did you find that Facebook page? Well, you weren't trolling for, like, who needs a kidney? I'm here to give it away.
No.
Well, how did you stumble upon that page?
That's exactly. I just stumbled upon it. I was just sitting on my couch on a Friday evening after work, waiting on my husband to get home, and scrolling through my homepage on my Facebook on my phone, and a friend of mine had shared the page, and it said, "Find a kidney for Jerry," and it intrigued me because that's something you never see. You see all kinds of things on Facebook. I'd never seen anything about looking for a kidney. And also at that time in my life, I was looking for purpose. It just clicked with me. And I started looking into it.
When you first saw the Facebook page, did you think, I'm that person? Was it instant, or did you think about it a little while and then come to you later?
Believe it or not, it really felt instant to me. I mean, I didn't know anything for sure at that point. I really didn't know anything about, kidney donation or transplants. I had no experience with that. It was a new idea, but I knew all of a sudden that it was something I wanted to do.
Did you tell your husband?
I did. As soon as he got home, I had planned to kind of, sit him down and break him into it easily, but he walked in the door and I was like, "What would you think if I donated my kidney?" It just kind of came out.
And was there any hesitation because it was someone you'd never met? It was just someone random on a Facebook page? You didn't know anything about him.
Right. And, I mean, in a way, I guess, I wanted to learn more about him. That would be the only hesitation. I just wanted to know more about who he was, what kind of person is this. But at the same time, my mind was kind of made up from the beginning because it felt like that's God's plan for me, kind of like a destiny sort of thing. So I wanted to learn more about him, but yeah, no hesitation.
And when you shared this with your family and friends, what was the reaction? Because it's kind of shocking.
Right,
like,
exactly, yeah. I would say shock. They're just like, silent at first. They want to kind of wrap their head around it. And then, just lots of questions. And how safe is this? Can you have kids after that? And all the same questions I had when I started the process.
Yeah. Leah, how much longer after you'd made this Facebook page and posted it did Becky contact you?
We ended up finding out that she actually found the page the very day that I started it.
You're kidding.
No, we found that out actually the day after the transplant. We were kind of just talking about it. But she found it the day that I started the page, and but I kept the page going as if I didn't know. She didn't tell me on the page. She ended up contacting Jerry and talking through Jerry. So then, about a month later, I do believe, Jerry private messaged me and says, "I have to tell you something, but we have to kind of keep it a secret." and that was really hard.
You didn't take the page down once you had a donor?
No, because I think these pages can be, the other benefit of the page is for awareness. And so we kept everybody updated on the testing process when Becky was going through the testing process, kept everybody updated on the transplant, And it's still up.
Did anyone
today.
else volunteer since then?
No, because after a while, and I got the green light from Jerry to say it's a go.
So people knew.
People knew we had a match that was in the testing process, and then they knew when the transplant was. So
There's tons of support though from that,
Absolutely.
keeping that going and keeping the updates. I mean,
Absolutely.
tons of Facebook support, and you know.
And Leah, your mission didn't stop with this one kidney. You now have an organization. How did that come about?
after I found Jerry his kidney and he had his transplant, I just didn't really feel like I was done with the cause. And so I started another Facebook page, Find a Kidney Central, and it's almost like a virtual bulletin board where people can post their pages. I also help people learn how to start their own pages and give them tips on how to run it and make it more successful and how to get it out there so that others can see their need. And currently I have 260 people that have pages that are in need of a kidney. And we've seen 56 transplants. Now some of those came from deceased donors, some came from family members, but some did find their kidneys because of their Facebook page. And, Jerry just helped me realize the need. It's such a great need. Right now there are 96,000 people on the wait list in the United States for a kidney.
I just so needed it, and you're providing such a service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really inspirational. When we come back, we're going to meet the man whose life Leah and Becky saved. So stay tuned. CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaFouk. Also with us are Leah and Becky. Before the break, we were talking about their amazing story of how social media led Becky to donate her kidney to a stranger. And he is with us as well. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you, Lisa. It's nice to be here.
It's so good to have you, thanks to these women here.
My two guardian angels, as I call them. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with this whole transplant and
Yeah.
dialysis and everything?
I actually had a transplant for 17 years, so this is actually my second transplant. And what happened is I developed cancer in my transplanted kidney, which is incredibly rare. And a lot of people didn't even know that was like medically possible, but it is. So I had to go back on dialysis, and a lot of people don't realize how incredibly hard dialysis is physically on the patient. It's a lot of time. You feel very, very tired. You have a very limited diet. You feel very, very sick. And so it was a situation that I wouldn't wish on anyone. It's just an awful experience. And honestly, I felt like I was a very difficult person to match. And I thought, I may be running out of time. I may not. I mean, people die on dialysis every single day. And a lot of my friends who were on the unit with me died, waiting. And so that's a horrible thing to come in on a Sunday night and there's a bed next to you that's empty. And, I have a wife and two kids, and it's something that preys on your mind all the time. So I felt like maybe, social media would be an opportunity to spread the news. And everything just completely fit into place. And I had the
How did you feel when you saw that a stranger, no one you knew, just someone that found you on Facebook was going to give you that kidney?
I don't even know how to describe that. It's literally, I had to go in and show my daughter the message because I wasn't quite sure. My mind wasn't playing tricks on me. And I said to Anna, what do you think this means? I showed her my phone, and she said, I think it means you're a match, Dad. And then she said, who is this person? And I said, I don't know. And she goes, no, really, Dad, don't mess around. Who is this person? I said, honey, I don't know her. She's a complete stranger.
Wow. Now you have a whole philosophy about being blessed in the situation and wanting to pay it forward. Can you explain that to us?
Absolutely. This is the way this all came together so perfectly, and I'm so healthy and I live a normal life. I don't think you just get to go back and live your life. I think you absolutely have a responsibility to try to help others. And I know one of the first things that Leah and I did was create a page for my friend Chad, Find a Kidney for Chad, and he's still waiting.
So if anyone's out there.
That's right. He's a great guy, and there's a lot of people waiting, as you said.
He's young.
He's
24.
Oh.
And I keep telling him, two good-looking guys like us, we should be out drinking beer and chasing girls and stuff, So I'm looking forward to, I'm going to buy Chad a beer someday. I'm looking forward to that.
So this brings up a question for people who may be wanting to donate organs. How do people go about that? And is it that complicated? What's involved in organ donation?
Well, I think right now I have it in my license. There is a place you can sign saying, I elect to donate my organs. This is not working all that well because here, I actually looked it up this morning, the average weight for somebody, say, between 50 and 65 is 168 days for a heart, for example, okay?
Right.
Now, 1 year ago, I had a patient of mine who happened to be in Italy, had a heart attack, needed a heart transplant. He waited 12 days.
Why the difference?
Because in there, the default assumption is you want to give your organ. And if you don't say in your card, I don't want to give my organ, or if you don't declare it beforehand or tell your family, then the assumption is when this young Italian was in a motorcycle accident in the north of Italy, that he wanted to give his organs, and it saved my patient's life. So I think we really do need to change our whole philosophy.
Yeah, what is our policy now, and how do we as citizens go about changing that?
Well, write your senator, write your your congressman. I think people really do have to raise up their voices and suggest a whole different way of doing it. And right now you can't. It's hard to game the system. You go on the list. You have to be
Right.
within a certain distance of the place. You can occasionally, like Steve Jobs was able to be on a couple of lists because he was able to fly from one part of the country to the other quickly enough to be able, if there was a match, which there was, to go across the country and get it. But most of us are not able to do that. So the other thing that people need to do is, well, they need to think about doing is, for leukemia, it's very hard to get a match very often.
Right.
And there are these banks of people who have either blood or umbilical cord or stem cells. And most people, when they give birth, the umbilical cord, which has stem cells, which are potentially life-saving, it's just thrown away.
So you could donate your...
You could donate your umbilical cord. Just talk to your doctor about that. And one of the problems is that hospitals are not set up very often to do this. But that's another thing. This is just absolutely easy. It's a layup to do that.
So if you don't want to donate, I mean, if you die, you can donate your whole
Right.
body,
Hard to
or
think about
you
that.
can be a saint, like
Which is stunning.
Becky
It's
here,
amazing.
and donate a kidney. But are there other ways
Yes.
that we can think about
Yeah,
donation?
helping.
Yeah.
Here's something you can do today, okay, which is just, you can do a simple swab of your cheek. You set it up, you talk to your doctor about how you do this. I think the Red Cross is one place, for example, that you can call. And they'll just put you in a database to say, are you a potential match? It's not saying that you're committed to give your bone marrow. It's not saying that you're going to do something in the future. But what that says is that if somebody needs a match, like I interviewed a little kid who was several years old who needed a transplant and he just wasn't able to find one. And he finally was able to get it from one of these public banks that keeps all of this list of people and what their genetic makeup is and says, oh, that's a match. Then they go to the person and say, okay, of course it's hard to say no. There's a 5-year-old boy who needs your,
Right.
and it's not so hard to give it. You can either get a little blood out and then they do some fancy schmancy stuff and then isolate the stem cells, or you can get a little bit of bone marrow from your hip, which is really a very simple procedure, very safe. There's no danger, almost no danger of doing any of this, but you're saving a life potentially.
So do you guys feel that we have a moral responsibility to strangers?
I will tell you, that is a stunning gift that you gave. I mean, the thought that you would give a kidney. Some people have trouble lending a belt.
I know.
What do you want? This is my belt. But to give a kidney.
It was an honor to me to do it, though. I mean, I do feel like we have a moral responsibility to each other. I think God puts us here to take care of each other. And I've told Jerry that before. And I mean, it was an honor. I feel fulfilled. I do.
Believe it or not, on Find a Kidney Central, a big part of it is for those in need. But I actually do have people who will message me and say they want to be a donor, and they ask me to point them in the direction of a page of somebody that they might match with their blood type in their area.
So just starting with you, Leah, we'll go around. What do you want people to know about organ donation? What do you want them to take away from this experience?
It saves lives. I mean, Jerry is here today. He's able to watch his kids grow up. He's able to watch his grandkids, his future grandkids, it is truly the gift of life.
Becky?
I want people to know that living donation, an organ from living donation can last longer than if you just wait. If you just put the thing on your license and then, when you're dead, they take your organ. You're going to help somebody, but you might not help them as long.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. That's normal.
There are so many people in need, and we can do better. We can help a lot of people live a completely normal life.
Do you have something you want to tell Becky and Leah?
How much time do you have? They know. They're beyond friends. We're family.
Yeah.
A part of her lives in me.
Absolutely.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.
And John, to wrap this up.
Yeah, I would say most people are not going to be able to give a kidney. It's just from what you did, Becky, was amazing, okay? But you can swab a little bit of the inside of your
Or
cheek.
give blood.
But you can give some blood. And by the way, you sign the thing on your license. If you have a moral reason, a religious reason why you don't want to do that, that's fine. But don't not sign it because you didn't think of it or you figure, whatever, it's somebody else.
Remember, it says the problem isn't that it's you wanting to give your organs. It's when you die, your family fights over it. And then even if you've signed it, so he said put it on your Facebook page. That way no one can argue with it.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Leah, Becky, and Jerry, thank you all so much for being here. And John, will you stay with us for one more segment?
Of course.
Fabulous. When we come back, he'll answer one last question. We'll be right back.